This is a matter of life and death. God gave us the ability to make decisions, and sometimes I honestly wonder why He gave us so much power. Because every single decision we make, even the tiniest ones, writes the story of who we are. We can choose what our day is going to be based on our decisions, and ultimately, we can choose where we'll spend eternity based on one decision. And in light of recent events, one thing I know for certain is there just isn't that much time. The earth is fleeting, so the question is, how are you going to spend your days? I want this to be a message of hope, but I'm also going to be real with y'all. The enemy is constantly trying to hijack our attention, feeding into our dopamine addiction with flashing lights, endless scrolling, and nonstop noise that keeps us coming back for more. But here's the truth. We actually hold the power. We can say no. No to overindulgence in the things that only bring death. No to binge eating. No to endless screen usage. No to social media that numbs our hearts instead of filling our souls. Because those quick dopamine hits, they don't satisfy. They leave us anxious. They leave us depressed. They strip away our desire to live fully alive, the kind of purposeful life that God designed for us. So what are we making a priority? What changes are we going to make today? It's time for us to wake up and say, God, what do you have for me today? Because when my decisions are based only on my flesh, they lead straight to death. But when I decide to live in His light, I step into peace, into purpose, into something bigger than I can even imagine. The world is heavy right now. Our hearts are heavy. But God is still good. He is still on His throne, and He has a plan for you. The enemy wants you stagnant. He wants you distracted. He wants you numbing out so that you don't notice the life that God is offering right in front of you. And it's easy to numb out, isn't it? I've been there too. Constantly going back to the same things I thought would help me rest when life felt chaotic. But those escapes weren't rest. They were distractions. They pushed me into survival mode, full of anxiety, overstimulation, and frustration. And too often, I took it out on the ones that I loved most. And that is exactly what the enemy wants. And for too long, I chose to let him win. But I'm saying it now, no more. It is time for change. But here's the thing. Our flesh doesn't naturally go toward what's holy. It leans toward distraction, to worldly pleasures, to quick fixes that promise comfort but only leave us empty. And if we aren't intentional, if we don't decide for ourselves, the decision often gets made for us by our culture, by the enemy, by the cravings of our flesh. That's why today matters. That's why this very moment matters. Because every day that we delay, we're letting time slip through our fingers. And friend, time is one thing we can never get back. So I am drawing a line in the sand. I am saying enough is enough. It is not time to be stagnant anymore. It's time to be awake, alert, and alive to what God is calling us into. Because if we keep waiting for someday, someday never comes. There will always be another excuse, another distraction, another reason to put it off. But God isn't asking us to change later. He's calling us to obedience today. And the truth is, holiness isn't passive. It's not something we stumble into by accident. It's a choice we make daily, sometimes moment by moment, to turn away from what pulls us down and to step towards the light of Christ. Here's the good news. Every time we decide to choose life, to do the things that bring us closer to God, closer to presence, closer to peace, our lives begin to reflect that, and the fruit shows up quickly. Our days start to slow down. We find ourselves less reactive. We are not as frazzled or anxious. Instead, we are patient. We are focused. We start experiencing joy again, and you realize that an unhurried life is possible. But it takes making different choices. I won't sugarcoat it. It may feel daunting at first, but if you lean in, it will change your life. For those of you who have no idea where to even start, I've created a mini workshop. It's completely free, just a small step, a simple beginning to help you get started. It's designed to help us refocus on what matters most. In this workshop, we dive deeper into how screens and quick fixes are literally shaping our brains, and we work on rewiring the way we think, becoming intentional with our time, and choosing life-giving habits over numbing ones. It's not about perfection, it's about direction, and it starts with one decision. This is something that I'm so incredibly passionate about, and I know God calls us to something deeper, something higher, and I'm willing to do whatever I can to share that message. So today, let's choose who we will serve. Joshua 24:15 says, "Choose this day whom you will serve," because at the end of the day, it all comes down to a decision. A decision for life, a decision for presence, a decision for eternity. See you soon.